of a position and that, but many times it could be because of the thoughts that you're thinking during the day. What are you watching during the day? What are you looking at during the day? What are the thoughts that you're thinking during the day? And this could lead to that sin as well. And you know you know how there's like radio waves like everywhere? There's spiritual energy everywhere. And if somebody goes and he sins in this particular sin, he cannot perceive to the spiritual energy. The more one keeps himself purified from this energy, the more from this sin, the more he can perceive the spiritual energy in it. And we know that there is a spiritual flow of blessing that comes to you. Now, every time you sin, you get a sort of klipa, you get a sort of a shell that's preventing the blessing from coming to you. But says the Baal Tanya, it says that none of it is as strong as a sin of wasting seed. The transgression of wasting seed blocks does the most damage in this aspect. And it says the Zohar something very scary. It says that there's no sin in the world which provokes the anger of God as damage as this sin. Which means is like, you know, there's like a top of the sin, you know, like you don't want to be there. And like this is one of the worst sins that you can do. The Zohar says further that besides being the most severe, it is very, very, very difficult to do repentance on this. So don't be like, okay, I'll do this and then I'll do the repentance on it. And we're going to speak about repentance B'ezrat Hashem next week and how to fix it. But it's something that is extremely, extremely severe, and I cannot emphasize this enough. We know that the generation of the flood, they got punished with what? With warm water, with hot boiling water. Why? Because one of the sins that they did, and what the Zohar says that why was their sin sealed for? Because the sin of wasting seed. They put their seed on the ground because of the warm seed that came out of them went on the ground. That's why the world was punished with warm fluid, measure for measure, the same matter. And the Zohar says also if somebody dies without doing tshuva on this sin, he gets thrown to Gehenna, he gets thrown to hell forever. That's the guy's not coming out. This is like, you know, this is where you're talking about, like, this is not a sin, like, oops, oh, okay, I'm sorry, you know, it's not, there is tshuva, we'll speak about it, but this is something that the Zohar speaks very, very strongly against, and the halacha speaks very, very strongly against.
Could you ever do tshuva if you did it like a million times? Like...
Yeah, we're going to speak about the B'ezrat Hashem. That's going to be next week. We're going to go through all the details on how to do repentance and tikkunim for this, and how to get all that spiritual blessing back. The Kav Yashar in the 70th chapter says that demons, how do they derive sustenance? From this. So every time that somebody wastes seed, think about it this way. There's like demons that are just like milking up all that spiritual energy. And then you're just like you're like, here my children, you know, feast. And then you're growing this army that they're not like, long live king, whatever your name is, right? Long live. They're not doing that. They're like, let's destroy this guy. Let's take him apart and destroy every single blessing that he could possibly have in his life. That's what that's what you're feeding them. Furthermore, it delays the redemption of the Geula, because we know that the Mashiach is going to come only when all the souls leave the guf, the place where the spiritual body is. And if your soul is you know, if your souls are getting wasted over there, then it makes it a very, very difficult to have the Mashiach come, because all these souls are now in the world. Arrogance. Thank you very much, guys. Arrogance goes and brings a person to the sin of wasting seed as well. I want to share with you a few things that the Shnei Luchot HaBrit, Rabbi Yeshayahu Horowitz, says on this matter. So, number one, some of these things are going to be reviews that we spoke about, but it's good to hear it again. Number one, first of all, the exile is going to be prolonged. Number two, this person who does a sin doesn't merit to see the Shekhinah, doesn't merit to see God. Number three, if he doesn't do tshuva, he will not rise in the resurrection of the dead. Number four, he brings death and plague to the world. Not only to him, but to the world. Number five, he prevents, if someone is in this sin, you should know that it's very difficult to understand the Torah. It gets blocked. You're not going to be able to understand the secrets of the Torah. And Rabbi Yaakov Abu Chatzel says that the Torah is called Brit, meaning that it attaches oneself to somebody who guards his Brit. Somebody also who doesn't for example, look at a woman, which is something that leads to the sin, will merit that his children will be able to bring out explanations in the Torah. And the more one breaks his temptation, the more Torah he's going to be revealed to them. So you want to have an opening to Torah? This is what you need to fix that. This is going to open it. Number six, and this is something we spoke about, and this is something that many men care about, unfortunately, more than anything else. It brings a person to poverty. You want to be wealthy? Don't do this. This is just, you're going to be bleeding money from this. Number seven, his son will be evildoers. And it says something really crazy over here. From people like him come the heretics, reformers, and the atheists. No one wants children like that. The Gemara Nida, which we said, we're going to do it quickly, said when you do this sin, it's as if you're bringing a flood into this world. You also consider it if you spill blood, which you spoke about, and you serve idols, and you're also liable to death penalty at the hand of heaven. You're also considered like you're excommunicated. Says the Gemara also that the Zohar says that you have no portion in the God of Israel. You understand the seriousness, right? Is it making, a little bit that? Okay, so let's get a little bit more.
Technically you're eliminating a lot of people that way.
From
all these things.
Well, they have to do repentance.
You're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. It's 80%, 90% of Jewish men. Even
that waste seed? Well, this is what this class is for, to help them stop it. Just because they do it doesn't mean they can't stop it. Anything that you want, you can do. It's depending how much you want it. It's really depending how much you want it. It really is. Like somebody who really, really wants to be wealthy and he tries and he's really, really aggressive, he, B'ezrat Hashem, will one day, make it. Somebody who's constantly going and he's constantly, going after women, he'll end up going with women. If you really want it, you could prevent it from happening. I know many people that do not fall in this sin. And I know many people that do fall in this sin at the same aspect.
Yeah, so in religious families, there's like no such thing as sex, without making child.
No, there is. We'll speak about that. There is. Yeah. So, but it has to be in a kosher way. But we'll speak about it soon. So the Zohar says like this. He says like this: all the troubles, all the problems that befall a person are caused by this sin. You want to know why you're having problems? This is a good reason why, if you're still doing this. The Zohar says further, I'm going to list you about 5 things now, all from the Zohar. His soul goes to waste. He can never leave hell, which we spoke about it before. He is given over to the hands of the other side, the evil inclination, the sitra achra. And the tshuva is of the hardest of all the sins of the Torah. He will not live in the 7th millennium, and the Kriyat Shema that he says will not be heard above. Furthermore, mazal. You know what mazal stands for? Mazal means luck. Everybody wants to have good luck. Especially a lot of the Russians, what do? Everything for luck. Put this and put that, put this. The keys, the salt, the bottles, the empty, this. Everything is for good luck. You want to know what is one of the worst things that you can do for good luck? Is wasting seed. What? Mazal stands for Motzi Zera Levatala. The acronym is for wasting seed. Mazal, Motzi Zera Levatala. That's what it stands for, wasting seed. You want to destroy your mazal, your luck? You want to do that? Then that's what's gonna cause it. The flip side also, somebody who guards his blit, somebody who doesn't fall in this sin, brings panasat to the person. It brings sustenance to the person. And that's why it says kasha mizonotav shel adam ki kriyat yamsuf. It's difficult. The Gemara says in Psachim, page 117, that it's very difficult for somebody to make panasat, to make a living, just like it was for crossing the sea. Now, what's the correlation for it? Because we know that what was the sea, the ocean, when the Jews left Egypt? Why did it cross? It says hayam ra'a v'yanos. The sea saw and it split. What did it see? It saw the coffin of Yosef. What was Yosef known for? He was known for guarding his blit, with the whole thing with Potiphar, with Eshet Potiphar. So he was able to overcome it. This is why, if you want to have panasam, the same way that the sea split in the merit of Yosef, who guarded his blit, the same way you will merit to have panasah in the merit of guarding your blit. Furthermore, the Sefer al-Brit says that not only is it going to be a problem for his panasah, but he will not be successful in all his endeavors. Everything is going to fail. Everything is going to cause problems. There's some people that everything they try, flat, falling. No one knows why. He says, I don't understand. I went to college, I did all these things, I'm going the right way, I'm doing this, and I'm still not successful. So this could be a very big reason why. The Rav Nachman Blessev says also like this. It says that it's, besides having a very hard time earning a living, this, by the way, speaks to everybody, I think the strongest. Money. Everybody understands. Money talks. It says when this knows, if you think about it, every time you waste it, imagine you lose like 20 grand out of your bank. It's just like, cha-ching, it goes out. Right? It's going to make you stop. Okay, so let's say you're a multi-billionaire, so just add another zero every time, right? Comparable percentage-wise. So people will say, no, I can't do it, I can't stop, it's very difficult for me. Imagine every time you do that, 20 grand just goes out, and you could go in the negative. So everything that you work, and people do that. People work, they should have enough that they should be able to save, but for some reason the saving is not there. Like, where is the saving going? Because it could be in their negative. Every time that they're making extra, they're still paying up, from the default, from the withdrawals that they placed earlier. And even if one does earn money, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be through bitterness, through poverty, it's going to be very, not something that's easy. The Chafetz Chaim says, and this is something that I speak to people, that people postpone marriage. Why do they postpone marriage? They met a girl, a good girl, a nice kosher girl, and they don't want to get married. Why? Because of panasah, no money. So he says, their benefits, to preserving, like their money is going to be offset, because we know that evidently what's going to happen, you're going to end up falling into sin. And what's that going to lead to? That's going to lead to more problems and more losing money. So you think that you're saving money by not getting married yet, but in essence you're really losing the money. And so your gain are going to be offset by your loss. Rav Chaim Pelagi says like this. He says that the Torah, that if somebody goes and he guards his brit and guards the Torah, then even if his mazal, if his luck says he's not supposed to have money, he's not going to have anything good, these two merits can override the mazal. Which means is you have an ability to override your luck and what you're supposed to be. A while ago in Israel there was a very dry winter, and all of a sudden in the spring when it never rains, it started raining. So Rav Aryan Leib Steinman said that most probably, why this blessing came in is because there was somebody who got tested in this matter and he overcame it. Because it could bring blessing not only for you but for everybody else as well. This also prevents one's children from going astray.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.